I still don't know what I'm going to do. I have not replied to any of her texts since last night, and she has been texting me. She texted me good night last night after the date, and she texted this morning with a good morning text, and then a few hours after that, she sent another random text. So she has been texting me, and I've just been leaving her on red, so I'm sure she's noticed. But yeah, I mean, I'm really not sure what I want to do. I don't know how I want to handle this. For those that don't know, I went out last night with my new girlfriend, first girlfriend ever, and we just so happened to run into a guy that she knows from school. And the whole night, she was basically salivating over this guy while I just sat there like a pathetic loser, which, I am. But, you know, I was going out on a date with my new girlfriend, first girlfriend ever. So I was kind of starting to feel like less of a pathetic loser. And then the most brutal mogging of all time occurred, targeted at me. But yeah, so she was just salivating over this other guy the entire night. And then after dinner, she revealed to me that that guy had taken her VIR virginity, and then afterward he had just acted like nothing ever happened, and it hurt her so bad. And it wasn't even that long ago either. This was like less than a year ago that all this happened, apparently. I don't know exactly when it happened, but I know it has to have been less than a year ago. And I mean, maybe you would have had to be there to see just how bad it was, because I'm sure some of you think I'm just being overly dramatic about this. And I've even thought to myself, like, am I overreacting to this? Is this maybe not that big a deal? But then it's like, no, I'm not. I'm not overreacting. I'm not. It's fucked up. And I'm right to feel the way that I feel. Because, yeah, like I said, maybe you had to be there to see exactly how it was, but it was pretty obvious that if this guy wanted her today, she would dump me in a heartbeat. So that's the situation. I have a girlfriend that, I mean, other than because of what I know now, I do like her, and she likes me, I guess, but I'm obviously not her first choice. I mean, if you think about it, obviously I wouldn't be her or any other woman's first choice. I know that. Like, if Henry Cavill or somebody walked up to her and he was like, hey, dump the chump and come get with me, obviously she would choose Henry Cavill over me. So it's not like I ever expected that I would be her top choice. But I guess, I mean, is it not fair enough for me to expect my girlfriend to at least be considerate enough to me to not just be, I mean, when we ran into this guy, it was like she was captivated by him or something. Like she was hypnotized by him. Even at times when nobody was talking and we were all just sitting there at the table, I looked over at her and she's looking at him, and she drank from his cup. It was embarrassing. Honestly, I know that I am very extremely high inhibition, and I do tend to overthink pretty much everything. I'm a major overanalyzer, but This was embarrassing. It was humiliating. And I think anybody in my position would feel the same way. So I don't think I'm being unreasonable. The way that I feel, it's not unreasonable for me to feel like I just got cucked, basically. Even if it's not, in the most literal sense. I mean, it basically is. Pretty much. That's what happened. And I think anybody would feel that way. If this happened to you, you would feel the same way, I'm sure. And like I said, I know obviously if Henry Cavill or Leonardo DiCaprio or someone like that, if someone like that, rich, famous, handsome actor approached her, like, obviously they're rich and famous and famously good looking. So I already know for most women, loyalty only goes so far. It's not just women. I think most men are like that too. That's just a part of human nature. Loyalty only goes so far. Even myself, if, I don't know, let's say Sydney Sweeney came up to me, or I don't know. I mean, she's hot, obviously, but her face is kind of medium. That, to me, whatever. She's a beautiful woman. She's not necessarily my cup of tea exactly, other than, like, obviously, her body, But, okay, so let's say if Kira Lotan came up to me, and, we'll have to assume for this scenario that I don't know who she is, because knowing her personality, I probably would reject her just because she's, legally speaking, I think she probably would qualify as being intellectually challenged. So for me to accept any advances from Kira Lotan, that would probably be some kind of crime because of her mental disability. But let's say that an exact clone of Kira Lotan, physically, her physical clone, but the clone is mentally competent in this scenario. This Kira Lotan clone comes up to me and she's like, "Hey, loser Maxing, dump your girlfriend and get with me instead. I will do whatever you want." I like to think I would be able to resist, and I'd be able to turn her down and remain loyal to my girlfriend. But I don't know. I mean, just being honest, it's easy to say that I have enough integrity and I'm a good person, so I wouldn't do that and I would stay loyal. But if I was actually put in that situation, I really don't know, because, who knows? It's easy to say you would do the right thing, but in that situation, how many of us would? I'm at least self-aware enough to know that maybe I wouldn't be able to do the right thing. But that's not actually a very apt comparison to what this situation is. A better comparison would be if a slightly better looking version of my girlfriend propositioned me. In that case, would I be able to resist? And if that's the scenario, then I think pretty confidently that I would be able to resist and I would stay loyal. Because again, this guy is basically my doppelganger plus 1 inch of height and maybe 1.5 points better looking in the face. And he did have a better skull shape than me because he's also bald. So I am including that in the face assessment. But yeah, he's basically me, but just slightly more attractive. And for the Indian girl, my girlfriend, I guess that's a big enough difference for her to just basically ignore me and just, I mean, I swear to God, the way it was like, if he had just looked at her across the table and said to her, like, come with me right now, break up with this loser and come with me. I swear to God, she would have done it. She would have done it. I don't think she would have thought twice about it. And it's not like it's just some guy we had a chance encounter with that we'll probably never see again. They go to school together. Like, they have classes together right now. I don't know how far along he is in the degree compared to her, but if he's got the same amount of credits and everything that she has, then they're going to be seeing each other for a whole nother year at least. So that's at least another year of my girlfriend being in contact with the most charming quoter of early 2000s comedy movies you've ever seen. Apparently. Who knows what it's like when they're in class together? And I'm not even there to see how much she's just laughing at every joke he makes, probably slapping his arm playfully when he quotes frickin' dodgeball or something. You can dodge a wrench, but can you dodge my dick? And she's probably just like, oh, I don't think I want to dodge that. Probably. Like, I joke, but probably. It's something like that. I mean, I don't know. Maybe the guy is actually better looking than I thought he was, because his girlfriend was, to me, I would say she was an 8 out of 10. If you go by the way these idiots on looksmaxing forums do ratings, where they act like, oh, well, looks are actually on a bell curve, so a 7 out of 10 means that she's more attractive than 99.99999999997% of women. If you're mentally deficient enough to go by that scale, then, I don't know, she's probably like a 6 out of 10. But speaking as a guy that actually has a few neurons firing in my brain, I think she was probably an 8 out of 10. So maybe the guy is actually way better looking than I thought, or maybe he's just loaded. That's also a possibility. Oh, and by the way, we were sitting at the table with this couple for probably 2 hours, and I'm pretty sure the entire time, the guy's girlfriend literally never even looked at me. Like, this was just last night that this happened, but I guarantee she would not be able to pick me out of a lineup today if they did like a police lineup. Like, okay, miss, we need you to tell us which one of these men got mogged into the depths of Hades last night. She wouldn't be able to point me out because she never even looked at me, which that is the kind of treatment I'm used to. So whatever, no big deal. And, take that girl, for example. She was probably an 8 out of 10. Average face, ridiculous body. But if she had, like, let's say she had slipped me a note under the table that said something like, meet me in the bathroom in 10 minutes and you can do whatever you want with me. Honestly, I would have crumpled that note up and I would have thrown it away. I'm pretty sure I would have at least that much basic respect for my girlfriend to not cuck her right in front of her face. Okay, so I had to turn the recording off for a minute because I got a text, and it was her, of course. And, of course, just like anyone could predict, she wasn't texting me to apologize for ruining our date. She wasn't texting me to ask about why I haven't been responding to her texts. Because, you might think she'd be a little bit concerned about why I haven't responded to her at all since we went out. I mean, if the roles were reversed and I had been texting her and she just hadn't responded to me for like 24 hours or more, it might cross my mind that, maybe something's wrong here. Maybe she's upset with me about something. But I don't know. I guess she just doesn't operate like that. So this is what she texted me just now. She said, "Can you call me? We need to talk about your career." I like how she wrote my career as if that's something that even exists. I'm not going to respond tonight, by the way, if I ever respond to this at all, because the more I think about it, the more I just want to just completely ghost her. I'm not actually going to do that. I'm not going to ghost her. I will say something to her eventually, even if it is just me breaking up with her, but I'm still not really sure what I'm going to do. I almost want to just tell her, look, if you want me to look for a job, then you need to give it up. Because at this point, like, we need to talk about your career. I mean, the amount of disrespect, just, I don't even understand how a person could be that inconsiderate. It should be obvious that even if she isn't self-aware enough to have realized in the moment how disrespectful she was being to me last night, you would think she'd at least notice, like, hey, my boyfriend seems to be ignoring my texts. Maybe there might be something wrong. And I don't know, maybe it might cross her mind that maybe she did something wrong. I know it would cross my mind if the roles were reversed, but hey, maybe that's just because I'm such a super considerate kind of guy. Maybe that's just too much to expect from the average person. I'm definitely not going to respond tonight just because I really don't know what I want to do here. I have to think about it. Part of me wants to just legitimately just go along with whatever she wants because, I mean, she's obviously being very inconsiderate. Like, she's not treating me very well at all. But I also do believe this is the best I can get. As far as, I read a lot of your comments on my last video, and a lot of you were saying, you're telling me call LaFonda. You should have gone with LaFonda. Reach out to LaFonda. Call LaFonda. And I absolutely understand where you're coming from. But when I say this, like my girlfriend is the best I can get, I'm talking about, that's not like, it was never a thing that I was going to date LaFonda. That was just from the start, all that could ever be would be like a one-time thing, I'm pretty sure. Which would probably be great. But I do want an actual relationship. I mean, it's not even a want. It's like a human need. And I do like her, the Indian girl. Like, overall, just for hanging out with someone on a day-to-day basis and just having someone to show me some affection sometimes. I mean, just, getting that text most mornings, most every morning, that good morning text, and the text saying good night, that's a pretty big thing for my overall mental well-being and just like my overall level of contentness, I guess you could say. Even just that is like a pretty, like that is an amount of affection that is life-changing and has been life-changing. I really feel like that. I I don't think I'm going to find a better deal than this. I'm not going to find a better deal than her. Even with all this, with this situation. And maybe she would understand if I just talked to her about it and I was just like, listen, you can't be acting like that. You humiliated me. You were very inconsiderate. Blah, 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 whatever. You know, maybe if I talked to her about it, she would understand. But at the same time, the mogging was brutal. And she goes to school with this guy, so there's nothing I can do about that. She is going to be around this guy frequently without me being there to see how she's acting. That is going to happen. There is literally nothing I can do to prevent that. So even if I got her to agree to never talk to him again, I mean, that would probably make her want him even more. Because I'm pretty sure from what I saw last night, all this guy would have to do to take her away from me would be just call her up and say, get over here. And like literally he could just be Scorpion from Mortal Kombat and just call her and just be like, get over here, and just hang up the phone. And she would run out the door, get in her car immediately, drive to his house, bang on his door, just, yes, master, thank you for this opportunity to let you use me again for your own pleasure. Oh my goodness, thank you so much. Thank you. I promise you won't be disappointed. Or, you know, better yet, he could probably just call her up and say something like, 80% of the time, it works every time. And she'd just be completely powerless to resist him because of his freaking Anchorman quote knowledge. I mean, he knows every goddamn line that Ron Burgundy ever spoke. So, you know, you couldn't be any more charming than that, I guess. He's got such good game. I mean, does the PUA community know about this? Apparently, all you got to do is quote comedy movies from 20 years ago, and you'll just be crushing fresh off the boat. Shit, I might start selling a PUA course. Step 1, memorize every line from every Will Ferrell movie. Step 2, look down and just enjoy getting your pole polished off by apparently the thickest fucking girl in the whole world. In a good way, of course. Like, Jesus freaking Christ. I swear to God, this guy's girlfriend actually looked like the girl in the pink dress I put on the thumbnail. She wasn't quite on that level, but not far from it. She was pretty damn close to that, honestly. So, I'm leaning toward just telling her I'm done and just breaking up with her, because even if I talk to her about all this and let's say she was understanding about it, that still wouldn't change the fact that I know there's this other guy that she just let him have his way with her. But with me, it was never like that. That was never an option. And in fact, from the start, on our very first date, she made sure that I knew that I was not getting any without putting a ring on it. And just think, where could this possibly end up? At best, okay, maybe I end up with a wife that maybe I get to be intimate with her on occasion, and maybe she would be good for me in other ways. You know, maybe she would be there for me in other ways. But I'll always know that this other guy got her to do that, what they did together, he got that from her very easily with literally zero commitment. And a best case scenario is I just have to live with that shame. And maybe I would otherwise, maybe I would have an otherwise fulfilling relationship with her, but I would always have that feeling in the back of my head. I mean, not even a feeling, but I would always have that knowledge in the back of my head that the only reason she isn't with my doppelganger instead of me is because he doesn't want her. He already got what he wanted from her because she let him have it just like that. So I've got some thinking to do. I'm definitely strongly leaning toward just calling it quits, and hopefully I can still get something going with LaFonda, because I definitely will try to text LaFonda unless I do decide to try to work things out with the Indian girl. But, I am glad I decided to turn the mic on and rant about this tonight, because that was kind of just a decision I made, I don't think 30 minutes ago or whatever it is, right before I came out here. That was just like a snap decision. I thought, you know what? I'm on a hot streak of putting out a video every single day. So, let's talk about this. And then, what do you know? She texts me in the middle of me starting the recording. And I mean, the point I'm trying to make is I'm glad I did turn the mic on and start recording this, because just talking through things right now it's making me feel more confident about the direction I was already leaning toward. I don't think I'm exaggerating that this might be, I'll say, one of the most impactful decisions I have ever had to make. Because this is the difference between, look, if I go a certain route, there is a very real possibility that I end up being the oofy doofy husband for this Indian girl. And, that's a real possibility. That could be my future. But the alternative is that, well, I don't go that route, and I don't probably never have an actual relationship. I think there's a decent chance that I will be able to have a certain kind of relations at least one time with a very special and kind-hearted ebony goddess that you all know colloquially as LaFonda. I think there's definitely a possibility there, but that even, I don't know. I mean, she might just not respond if I try to text her. I honestly, at this point, I don't know which way I'm going to go. I'm going to probably stay up for at least another hour or two thinking about it. My goal is I do want to make a decision by tomorrow. I want to be able to let her know tomorrow either I'm going to end it, either I'm going to break up with her tomorrow, or I'm going to, maybe have a talk with her about how, just let her know how I feel about the way that she was acting. And I mean, she wants to talk to me about me finding a job, apparently. So, I mean, that really makes me lean toward, just saying it's over. I don't know. I really don't know. And I know that a lot of you are listening to this, and trust me, I understand. It sounds like I'm just bitching and moaning about like I'm speaking from it's a position of privilege that I am in this situation in the first place. That there's even like, I have a girlfriend. Like, even that is like, that puts me in a position of privilege. I understand that. So this all just sounds like a bunch of whinging, whatever. I think that's a word. I don't know. 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 I have to think. I've got a lot of thinking to get. I just keep going back and forth. At this point, like, yeah, there's no reason to talk anymore. I just gotta sit and think about this.